All right, what is going on, guys? Young 46 here. So a lot of you guys have asked for commentary. So I'm going to talk through my thought process here. We're going to play Congressional back nine. Fortunately, I did record the front nine, but I forgot to hit the record button. So we'll talk through that. But before we do that, myself and Jay Smithers have started a country club called Sticks CC. So we are looking for, top caliber level players, tour champion to join. If you have some interest, hit one of us up, let us know. All right, let's talk about this hole. We've got Congressional number 10. So we do have the back left pin, which I think is the trickier pin for sure. But issue with par threes, we can see there is a issue with the camera. So the real camera, in terms of where is this aiming, it's aiming right about here, which happens to be the other pin. So in our mind, we have to look around at the camera angles and figure out what is going on. In this view, we can see this is more the camera angle. So we've got this really skewed camera angle. So in our mind, we've got to shift it a little bit, and we can look at the flag as well. So this should be playing a little less wind than what it says. So we want to play this, I'd probably call this 33% wind, maybe about 29 when we factor out the camera angle here. So really want to go something long and spin it because it's just kind of fun. But if we wanted to play a safer play, we could play like some type of 5-iron, land it short. Obviously the miss here, we want to be beneath the hole. But if you're playing the spinner here, we want to go above the hole. And just for the sake of fun, and because I have a pretty decent number, I am going to play a fuller 4-iron, throw it long, and try to spin it in here. And pull side miss, which was fine. We want to miss on the pull side with that wind. We got it long. We got some spin. We just didn't generate enough, but a little more of a riskier shot, I suppose. The safer shot there would be to run something up, but this putt, nothing much to it. We're just going to hammer it. I see a lot of people take forever over these putts. This is one, just hit it for, 4.5, 5 feet of power. Take out all that break. It's just much easier. All right, tricky hole coming up here. And we get a tailwind, but we do have the easier pin. So number one, find the fairway. It doesn't really matter if we're left or right here. Let's just find the fairway. Now, this pin, if you go too long, you get a really tricky putt. If we end up short, that's okay. But this is pretty much a go number here. Really not a ton of risk here. The back pin would have been a little bit nicer. We could have talked through some options there. But ideally, I have a great number here. It's a 7-iron full, but that's going to land me pin high and release. So I'm going to take a little bit off because we do just want to land short of the pin and let it release a hair. That tug is not ideal here. So we're going to go left and we're going to come up a little short. But all in all, not terrible. Could have hit the full 7-7 or 7-iron fullback. Would have left us maybe a little bit past the pin if we ding it. This is not a terrible spot. A couple things you can do here, and this is probably one I will. We see a lot of break here at the beginning. We can incorporate it, or we just remove it, and we flight a pitch. Like you can actually just wedge it right over all that break, and then we don't even have to incorporate that into our thought process. So that's what I'm going to do here. Let's just carry it right over all that break. And now we end up with a straight putt once we're past that. So it's an option, or you incorporate that. That's just the lazier way. Here, I don't want to get too aggressive to the left because you can find these trees. It is down 10 almost. We'll say 7. So 314 with the wind. Can I get it 312 to carry that? Yeah, I probably can. If for some reason the wind doesn't do anything. But I want to ding it or miss late. The late miss, not going to kill us here. Always be thinking about your miss. It's the very first thing I think about before I even hit a shot. I already know right here that I don't want to end up too far left because you end up with a really breaky putt. If I do end up right at the pin and short, it is a pretty easy putt. So this is one of the very few circumstances where I'm actually thinking ding or late, which goes against the wind. Normally, it's always going to be ding side or wind side misses, but this is one I really don't want to end up to the left of that flag. So this is what I'm thinking, ding or late. If I end up right here, it's a really easy putt. Whereas if I end up here, super breaky putt. So we're just playing the numbers a little bit. This one just tends to play a little bit weird. This pin plays a little bit longer than what it shows. I like going in with a little underpowered shot here. So I'm going to go with a 7-iron, about 92% here. It's just one. I don't really love the 8, and we pulled it like we weren't supposed to, but we're going to get away with it. I don't really love the 8-iron. So if I can hit an underpowered 7, it's always going to be my preference, especially with the spin on these balls. Underpower just kind of takes a lot of the breakout. Not much to think about here. It does break. Again, this is just one. I'm going to jam it. I'm going to hit it 6.5 feet, miss a little late on the ding. Not much to it. But you could dot count that, or, whatever your preference is there. All right, so this one, we get the much more difficult pin here. And again, we have issues with the camera angle being off. As you can see, this is where the camera angle actually is. So there should be a little bit of right to left on this. And we also see it with the flag stick too. It's hard to see. A little better in this angle. You can see it's actually slightly right to left. So not going to play it dead at it like it shows. We're going to play a little bit of wind here. In terms of the number, a couple different options here. You can throw this long and spin it back. It's risky, but technically you can do it. But if it gets hung up, you're left with a really tricky shot. But I have such a good number here that for me, it's just more like, let's just rip a full 5 right at it. And you can see it went left like we thought. And it should spin, but hopefully it doesn't spin too much or it goes all the way down the hill. So really good lead there, actually. And we landed perfect, pretty good number. I won't say perfect. We did come up about a yard short. But I think a lot of people would just play that right at the pin. It would go left. And they're like, oh, this game's messed up. It's rigged, blah, 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 blah. Like you get the usual Facebook people. But it's not. It's a camera angle issue most of the time. Really nothing much to this putt. This is not one I would spend hardly any time on here. Actually broke the other way. So there's that. But I left myself in a great spot there. That's a putt we got to make. Should have took more time, but pretty ideal spot there. Just got to watch spinning it off the green. All right, now this hole, I like to play this tee shot probably a little different than most. I don't want to mess with going into where it gets really narrow there. I just play half top driver. It eliminates a lot of the wind, and it's super safe. We're just going to let it catch the downslope and just trundle down there. And I know I'm not going to get to that point where the fairway really narrows up and I can miss the fairway. Unfortunately, we have the easier pin here. Can't really hit the trick shot like you can the other one, but I do like playing that. Now, the way I play this, I just take off a couple yards. I basically just play my tee number here. You can play, play it normal. You can subtract elevation, however you want to do it. But it does tend to play a little bit less. It's uphill, so it's not going to move as much with the wind. In terms of the number, it's kind of an awkward number. It's like 96% 8-iron. So I know it's going to want to release out a little bit, but I'm still just going to play that number. It shouldn't release out a ton, but we want to land it just short of the pin on the upslope. A little bit of a seizure misting there, but we're going to get away with it. Going to leave a very, very dead straight-ish putt. We got a little too far. If you can keep it down here a little bit, it's a dead straight putt. So if I were right here, it has no break whatsoever. So below the hole is ideal. We did bring a little more break into play here. Sake of the video, I'm not going to sit here and count dots, but we could count that, and it's pretty easy. We're just going to hammer this putt, little misting early. In the essence of time, I don't want to read a ton of putts. All right, now this one, we got to find the fairway. It's left to right, so I already know we're going to have a decent angle in. It's 305 here, so I can be a little aggressive down this side if I want. But on this line, I've got to ding or miss late. If I pull it, I risk going in the rough. So under no circumstances can we pull that. Now this one, it's uphill downwind. It is going to release. We can just instantly know that we are going to get a decent amount of release on this shot. And the hole slopes left to right. So if I pull it, that's fine because the hole is going to slope and bring the ball back towards the hole anyway. So this is one, I have a bit of an awkward number. If we're talking to the pin, it's like 163. I don't necessarily pick a spot in my mind, or like I don't have a set number. I'm just kind of looking at it like in my mind. I think 151 is probably a pretty good number. So 151, 152 sets me up with a fairly decent, number here. So I'm going to play at 2 grids. So I'm actually going to over aim a little bit because, like I said, it is going to slope left to right. So I'm going to play a 7-iron here at about 70% back and just let it trundle towards the hole. So land short, roll left to right, and hopefully go in the hole. This is terrible miss. Can't miss on that side. We see a ding would have been beautiful. Now I've left myself a bit of a bender. But if we ding that or pull that, probably just have a simple tap in. All right. Now this is one with the back pin. We want to get a little risky here. There is a nice little hill right here. If I've got the balls to hit it, and let's say that's a 7-yard wind, I'm going to go right there, and I'm going to be aggressive because if I can get this kick forward, I might be able to get a 3-iron there. So it's a little risky. There is a reward. We didn't catch the bump. So now we've got a bit of an awkward number in. But we know if we hit 3 wood here, it's going through. So do I want to pitch? I'm not opposed to a pitch. Pitch long. Or we see if we can get really aggressive here and kind of run something up. And I think we can. I think it's a pretty good number. It might still go through, but I'll take my chances running a 3-iron up. If for some reason it doesn't get there, we just have a pitch anyway. So we're going to try to underpower a 3-iron, or not underpower, kind of low spin a 3-iron here and see if we can land it right on the front. And it worked out. Right on the front of the green. Couldn't have landed that more beautifully. Now, again, we could have hit 3 wood. It's a safer play and taken the pitch long. But to me, if I can always try to find a putt, I am going to lean towards that. So that's just me. Another one. We could sit here and read it all day, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to misting this off. Okay. Now this one, unfortunately, we can't go for the second fairway. But if you have a dead straight tailwind, 30% back, half back, play it off this slope, you need to carry it to at least right about here. So you need to go 307. If you go 307, it just trickles down, ends up somewhere over here. Into a headwind, unfortunately, we do not have that option, especially into the left pin. If it's the right pin, we could be a little riskier because we would have a lot more green to work with there where we could land it short. So this one, unfortunately, is just going to be one where we're laying back. You know what? I just realized my 3 wood goes further because I have a parallel on because we were messing around with something the other day. All right, well, we're going to just hit driver because I don't know what this 3 wood goes. So this is one, I just know if I have a headwind, I'm just going to hit it 90%, maybe 91. Something that I know is not going to go through the fairway. Now, in terms of this shot right here, long is actually better than short in my opinion. Yes, it's downhill, but the putt is significantly easier. It's almost always going to be fairly straight if we can get it right in line with the hole. Now, if we end up long right, we end up with a bender. But anything short left's kind of a weird putt. So to me, I like to err on the side of long, but this number is really good to just go at it with a 7-iron. So hopefully it doesn't come up short and spin, but that is a possibility. I don't love the tug again. Clearly have a miss right now. Yeah, should leave me a very, very, very straight putt. It's a little daunting to be back here, but I'm telling you, the putts are insanely easy. Just going to pull it just a little bit. Okay, now the fun hole. So first and foremost, find the fairway. Don't get cute. We're going to play it very safe. Just something that finds the fairway, and then we'll deal with the shot. But if we're in the rough, we're screwed. A lot of people get too aggressive here. Find the fairway first. Another one where we can see the camera angle's off. Like, the camera angle realistically is here. So we already know that we have a camera angle issue. And a lot of people struggle with this hole, myself included. It's erratic at times. So now we're still slightly angled, but we're a little bit closer to the true wind here. So it's 213, wind in our face a little bit. Does tend to go a little bit long. I'm going to play an underpowered 3-iron here. Where I don't want to be is here. It's pretty, I mean, it's not all places you do want to be on this hole. It's all kind of bendy. I don't think the putt here is too bad. I don't mind being back here a little bit. Here's fine. Here's okay. Just really, I want to avoid this spot with all the break. So, but we also want to play it fairly safe. I don't really want to go in the water. That would be bad. So we know our miss is going to have to be late. But I like playing a little underpowered shot into here. You could also play like a punch and run it down there. I've seen people do that successfully, but we are just going to go with a full back 3-iron at about 94% power. A lot of times it's just getting the wind right here. That's where most people fail. So we left ourselves a little bit of a bender. I mean, it's not an ideal spot. But at the end of the day, it's much better than some other spots here. All right, let's drop this putt and move on with life. Again, I'm not going to read the putt. I would love to read this, though. This is one that I don't know if it's the right line or not, but we're going to go with it. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, comment down below. If you have any ideas for the next video, let me know. And like I said, if you're interested in joining Sticks Country Club, message myself or Jay Smithers, and we'll see what we can do. So appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe.